Hello everyone, Nick Shaheen here, looking at pot stocks, cannabis stocks. How to trade them. They are a pretty tricky bunch. This is NJ, an ETF that tracks them, or the big guys that are known, like CGC, ACB, Tilray, Kronos. And opinions are all over the map. Everybody claims to be an expert. I definitely do not claim that. I don't know a lot about their particular fundamentals. I know the general fundamentals, the thesis, the long-term bullish thesis. It's all valid. The applications for cannabis is tremendous. It could be this, it could be that. Whether you believe in it or not, the argument for it is there. Therefore, you can't just short it and discount it completely because it's too wide and vast. Like if you plug one hole, if you shoot down one theory about this aspect, like topicals, then there's the edibles, then there's the medicinal, for the actual medicinal stuff that the doctors can recommend on a regular basis. So you can use, and there's the drinkables. I don't know if that's even a word, potables. Anyway, so there's an argument that says it's going to replace a lot of the beer drinking and the wine drinking because it's healthier. It doesn't have the same aftermath effect and all of that, and the sugars that come with it. So the bull-bear thesis is a debate that's ongoing for a long time. So how is the best way of doing things with this, to me, is you either buy the stock and believe, let's say you believe in canopy growth, and this is a stock that I believe in, for example. I don't, but let's say I do. So I would buy it and hold it for the long term, and I wouldn't even bother with the short-term fluctuations. Then, just like any other investment, I would have to manage my open risk at certain times, either add to it, which I don't usually like to add to an iffy proposition. So if a stock is not an established stock, like say Apple, I'm going to use the obvious one. Apple, I would average down based on levels I see. Definitely not too close together in time and not too close together in level. In other words, if I bought some today, and the next day it drops a few pennies, whatever it is, I don't buy more the next day. I need time to pass before I average down, or if it takes a big tumble down, and even then I need time. Whoa, market's just opened up, so something must have happened. This is aftermarket, and the British vote came in, and Boris wins. Okay, so keeps his seat, I should say. Back to the point. So how do I trade it? I either buy it and just forget about it, and wake up in 10 years and see if it actually lived up to the expectations, or would trade the charts. And that's how I would do it. So recently I did a video that was pretty popular on the day where it was the worst for CGC. The week, I should say, that was the worst. Where this is a weekly chart, by the way. So where I have my cursor right there is 1 week. So that week they reported and they fell off a cliff, and then somebody else reported they fell off a cliff even more in sympathy. And then I looked on a weekly and I saw that it was a level that was interesting to go long, and I did a video. I said go long. I would go long. I think it's time to go long in CGC and ACV. I think that was in the video, based on the fact that this is a pivot point. How did I find it? I found it on the chart. I'm not a genius. I just found it on the chart. So look at this candle right here. This is 2016. They spiked in 1 week and failed miserably, but it was a point, a really specific point. It took them about a year, almost exactly, and they spiked out of that point, and they never looked back. And that was the first time they've come back to it in all this time, 2016, 2017, 2019. So I thought it was going to be significant. Immediately rallied, and then I did another video. I said I would take profit right here. So it was only like 5 or 6 days in between the two. It was a lucky bounce, maybe, but it came too fast, and I say I would exit. Again, I found it on the chart. Why? Because of that orange line. So the bottom line is I would rather trade all cannabis stocks based on their charts, and I've been doing videos on that to see if I can help somebody out. So this is the same chart, only at 2 hours bars. So this is a 2-hour bar for CGC. Okay, so this shows the earnings reaction where it, and then the real sharp bounce. And I did a video. I said if I was long, even if I weren't long, I'd get out because of this failure point. This is an emphatic failure point. So it's terrible news, right? Look, again, it failed. It's terrible news, but therein lies the opportunity. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so you've heard of head and shoulders. Oh my gosh, dreaded head and shoulders. Well, there's an inverse head and shoulders that forms that way. So you have a neckline from which it fails. The bears say, I'm going to send you to heck. The bulls say, no, I'm going to defend it, and they come back to the neckline. The bears say, I just sent you, I'm going to send you again, and not only did they get to here, but they overshoot. So a lot lower. The bulls say, I can defend it, and they come back almost exactly the same point, neckline. The bears say, I can repeat it, only they fail. Look. They don't do as good a job. They come back to the neckline. The bears say, I can do it again, and they fail again. So now we have multiple attacks on the same, look, you can have another one here too, on the same neckline. So this is called a complex head and shoulders because it has two shoulders and one head. But if you only look at the two in the middle, all I need to care about is that there's a neckline that's being attacked. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it was a ledge before here, I bet you. And if it's breached, so this is the opportunity now. It's the problem, but it's also the opportunity. They go up above it, they come back to it, and then they use it to spike. Right? So that's the idea of an inverse head and shoulders in this case. But the point is, it's not a recommendation to buy the stock. First of all, if it was, that orange line is an actual alert for me. So when it hits there, my platform beeps at me, I go look at it, and I see that, oh my gosh, it just did an inverse head and shoulders, time to trade it up if I want to. But it's to show you or share the idea of trading charts, specific charts, he says, not the fundamentals. Because if I know the fundamentals, then I can trade the intraday charts. Now, those who don't want to trade, then they make their own decisions long term. But if somebody's trying to trade, is it a buy? I don't know. Let me look at the chart. Is this a buy? No, not until it goes out from above 264. Then it becomes a buy because it's probably going to get to 3, but it's going to hit a wall at 280. So it depends on how fast I'm trading and what are my goals. Tilray, same deal. I have another alert. There was one that had a breakout today and will serve as a good example, APHA. Okay, so I had an alert, I posted it, and it broke out, and it exceeded, it was exciting because it exceeded a prior failure point. So this, you can argue that it already broke out of some sort of a neckline, although there's one here and one here, so these two are going to be tough. But if I'm long, I stay long. Arguably, it's already broken out. So these are the type of decisions I can use short-term charts, or at least the charts, at any, look, I can go to a daily chart and get information. It all depends on how fast I'm trading. Like here I can tell you this guy is primed for a move. What do I mean? The price action is tight. So something's going to happen. I forgot. Okay, so I already pointed it out. So in the prior video, I forgot that I had all my drawings muted. So here there was a time frame that was, trigger here or here, another one here. So it depends on your time frame. There are plenty of triggers to go. So on the daily chart, it looks like there is a trigger that's brewing because you can see there's a lower high trend. Okay, and then the idea is it breaks out. And then there's also a higher low trend. If I extend this green guy, same deal, it would come back to here if it's broken downwards. And if it rallies, it doesn't stop here. I put it there because that's a prior failure point. So I'm guessing it's going to hit some resistance there. So you can see how you can change the charts to see the levels. And this looks like a level that it's going to hit definite resistance because it was a ledge. Look how much time they spent up here. So if they get up there, they're not going to slice through it. Also, I'm going to leave you with another thing to research if you don't have it already on your charts. You see these lines here? These are called volume profiles. So you see the volume down here. We all know what these are. Bars of volume, how many shares have traded on that day or that period of time. Well, this is the same information, but it's more useful because it tells me where it happened on the chart. Okay, so I know that most of the action happened right here. So yes, this line, 6.88, is this period of time's most active line, and it by a lot. Look at the next active lines. So it's a good base. So if they fall back to it, it's a buying point. It's going to be support for that period of time. So this is another piece of information that I would add to my charts. So how do I trade pot stocks? I mentioned this applies to any stock, but I mentioned pot stocks because they are fast movers and they are small dollar amounts, not cheap. That's different. The tickers are small dollar amounts. Like, it's not Amazon, it's $1,700 a share. It's $6 a share, $2 a share, $20 a share. So they're easier to fast trade with a smaller account, for example. And some of them even have options, which makes them even cheaper to work with that way if I know what I'm doing. So you can see why this line is important. Look how many indecisive candles happened right there. This right there, my friends, is very important. It tells me that this is a battleground, just like this is going to be a battleground if and when they get there. So charts are the only way to actually make shorter term decisions on entry exit points for any stock, especially pot stocks. If you have any questions, there's a link below to a chat room. Join me. They're 10-day free. So, and also if you're not a subscriber of this YouTube channel, hit it. That's free, always.